So in this segment, we're going to be talking about Dominic Raab wanting to do trade deals with countries that violate ECHR standards on human rights. I'm going to warn you now, the audio on this recording isn't the best, so there's that. But there are subtitles here for anyone who wants to just read the subtitles. So we'll play this clip this is from HuffPost, and this is good work from them, honestly.
So I squarely believe we ought to be trading liberally around the world. If we restrict it to countries with ECHR level standards of human rights, we're not going to do many trade deals with the growth markets of the future.
So what he's saying is we need to do trade deals with countries that violate human rights because these are the growth markets of the future. So this is the country they want us to be. A country that does deals with the scum of the earth when it comes, in terms of countries and leaders. So if you look at the article here, this is from someone called Aj Singh. So Dominic Raab has told officials in leaked audio, a video call, that Britain will seek to trade with countries around the world that violate international standards on human rights. The Foreign Secretary told his department that only trading with countries that meet the European Convention on Human Rights standards would mean the UK missing out on trade with future growth markets. So the UK, this is what they want the UK to be, and the EU isn't perfect in this. They've done a recent kind of investment deal with China. The EU isn't perfect in this, but if we wanted the UK to make our own road in this world, and we're deciding to make deals with scum of the earth countries, and leaders. So HuffPost UK understands the Foreign Secretary also used the meeting to name countries where the UK had raised human rights issues with trade partners, and we'll talk about the issue with the kind of mentality and thinking line of thought that Dominic Raab is doing. It is understood that Raab also said, "We don't want to junk whole relationships because we've got issues. We have a conversation because we want to change their behaviour. I can think of behaviour that would cross the line and render a country beyond the pale, but fundamentally I'm a big believer in engaging to try and exert positive influence, even if it's only a moderate influence, and I hope that calibrated approach gives you a sense that it's not just words, that we back up with action." So Dominic Raab, answer this, yeah? If you've got a country like Saudi Arabia that violates human rights, and then you go on to do a deal with Saudi Arabia, okay, trade deal, and then you say to Saudi Arabia, if you keep carrying on with your genocide in Yemen, we're going to stop doing trade with you. They're going to look at you like, are you an idiot? You've just signed a trade agreement with us. The way to do this is to say to countries, you get, a lot of countries together and say, look, if X country, Saudi Arabia or, whoever, China, keeps doing human rights abuse, we're going to boycott them. We're not going to do any trade with them as far as possible. We're going to put tariffs on their products, etc. Which I don't know if you could do that because of WTO rules, but you just say we're going to boycott these countries because of their human rights abuse. That would actually get you somewhere. That would give you positive impact. Just like countries have done with things like cotton, but you need to do it on a bigger scale. Doing a trade deal with countries just tells you that you like them. You're going to do trade with them, and you become more reliant on them. So this strategy of doing trade deals and making agreements and then trying to sanction these countries, fundamentally, to me, it doesn't make sense. Maybe it makes sense to someone out there, obviously to Raab it does, but it's genuinely a stupid statement. If you disagree, then you can feel free to put it in the comments, but it does seem like a stupid way of doing things. You're going to give in to the bullies of this world. Say a bully comes and takes your lunch money, and then a few days later you're going to be like, look, if you don't change your behaviour, I'm not going to give you my lunch money. Like what? Like, bruv, that's not how it works, surely. I could be wrong. But who knows? We've got this clip here of Emily Matlis absolutely taking James Cleverly apart. She asks about the question, she asks, is the UK going to do trade deals with countries that violate ECHR standards, and is this government policy? So we'll go from there.
Standards of human rights, we're not going to do many trade deals with growth markets of the future. Is that government policy?
Well, I wasn't on that staff meeting, and I'm not...
It's classic politicians dodge there, and I'm not aware of what you're talking about, therefore I can't comment on it.
...comfortable making comment on something that I haven't heard, so I don't know the context of the question. I don't know what he said immediately prior to that, immediately after that.
Understood. If I just ask you whether it is government policy not to restrict trading to countries that don't have ECHR levels of human rights. Would you say that's right? When it comes to China, when it comes to Saudi Arabia, would you say that it doesn't matter if these countries are below the ECHR level of human rights?
Well, the ECHR is something to which most of the world, of course, is not part. So, getting drawn into that as the sole parameter, I think it's a question that doesn't really relate to reality.
I mean, the question I would have asked is, do you want to do trade deals with countries that violate human rights? You know, that's the question. I would have phrased it straight up like that. I don't know if she does that because I haven't watched the entire interview. This is just a clip that Newsnight put on Twitter. But that's the line of thought I would have gone with.
Because of course, the European Convention on Human Rights is a purely European thing, and we have trade relationships all around the world. As I say, I don't want to comment on that particular partial quote because, as I say, I wasn't at the meeting. I didn't hear the full quote, and it would be unfair.
So this standard politician's dodge, really. I wasn't there at that particular meeting, therefore I can't comment on this thing because I don't know the context. Maybe it's fair comment, but I hope they get to ask Dominic Raab about it. What's also great about this story is we've got a guest star of Jacob Rees-Mogg, who attacked the journalist who actually reported the story, saying that the tape was distorted by low quality journalism. And then he goes on to say that the journalist was using a cheat to edit the recording. Like, what? Like, no one talks like that. No one says someone's used a cheat to edit the recording. You would say he edited the recording or she edited the recording. Like, I don't understand what the point that this person, Mogg is making here. Very stupid. But yeah, update, Rees-Mogg has conceded that on his podcast he was wrong to claim HuffPost had doctored the recording we were leaked of Dominic Raab on human rights. He was also wrong. He also wrongly claimed our report was inaccurate in his quotation. He also says HuffPost left a false impression as to what had been said. They really didn't. A reminder, Raab reconfirmed this yesterday, that we quoted was in fact government policy. So this is government policy to do deals with the scum of the earth, in terms of leadership, leaders in the world. And let's not forget here, let's go to this clip of Dominic Raab. It's one of my favourite clips of Dominic Raab.
My name's Dominic Raab, and I'm a Tory. I don't support the Human Rights Act, and I don't believe in economic and social rights.
Hi, my name's Majid Rahman, and I don't like Dominic Raab, and I don't like the Conservative Party, and I think y'all are dumb. Anyways, what can we gather from this video? That the UK is determined to do trade deals with countries that violate human rights because they believe that these are the growth markets of the future, and therefore the UK should be doing deals with extremely dodgy countries that don't care about the people within their countries. Also the fact that these sorts of countries that we're going to be dealing with may often exploit people, with the workers within their country, and therefore we're going to be getting goods that have been created on the back of exploitation, something that we already do as a country and also as a planet, but that's going to further keep that system going, which is a shame. But he's Dominic Raab, and
I'm a Tory. I don't support the Human Rights Act, and I don't believe in economic and social rights.
So, Dominic Raab said this years ago and people should have listened. So, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.